Today I am going to talk to you on man-environment relationship. Man is a product and an integral part of the environment. Human life and economic activities of man directly reflects the environmental impact. Environment refers to all the features of a place in which a person or an organism of a community living. It is defined as the surrounding features in which an organism, a person or a community is living. In simple words, environment means the surrounding features or conditions in which man lives and works. It includes all the features which influence human life both directly and indirectly. Importance of environment on man. A study of environmental influence on man is essential. It is because the environment determines the resources available in a region. The human occupations, dress, diet, dwelling, traditions, habits, festivals are much influenced by the nature of the environment. The environment is not identical throughout the world. It varies from one place to another. The present characteristics of human life have been evolved by man as an adaptation technique to the environment in which he is living. Thus, human mode of life in any part of the world is the product of the environment. The economic activity of man arises largely from the influences of the environment. Even the level of economic development differs greatly among the countries of the world. It can be explained in relation to the characteristics of environment. Thus, the study of environment enables us to understand human life, economic occupations as well as economy of the regions. In this lesson, the following aspects are included: types of environment, factors of physical environment and man's relationship, factors of cultural environment and man's relationship, modification of environment to man's convenience. Types of environment. According to the creation of various features on the earth's surface, the environment is broadly divided into two types. They are natural or physical environment and cultural or non-physical or man-made environment. Natural or physical environment. All the features naturally created on the earth's surface are termed as natural or physical environment. They are of great importance because they include all the natural resources and provide opportunities to man to take up various occupations. The occupation of the man differs from one region to another because of the variation in the physical environment provides opportunities as well as limitations within which man has to work, produce and live. The physical environment is comprised of many factors, of which the most important are location, geological structure, relief features, climate, soil, rivers, natural vegetation, animals, coastline, shape and size of the country. The first factor is location. The term location is derived from the Greek word locus, means the exact position of a country or a place or an object on the surface of the earth. So, a favorable location is a great commercial asset to a country. The influence of location is felt on various human activities. Types of location. There are two important methods of expressing geographical location of a country. They are absolute location and relative location. If the location of a country is expressed in terms of latitudes and longitudes, is known as absolute location. Absolute location of a country is said to be in the low latitudes, tropical region, middle latitudes, temperate region, and high latitudes, polar region. The location of a country is also expressed in relation to the adjoining seas, market or commercial routes, etc. is known as relative location. There are many types of relative location in which following are the important. They are insular, peninsular, littoral, isthmus, archipelago and continental location. Each of these types of locations has a distinct influence on the life and economic activities of the people and also affects the commercial activities of the country. Second factor is geological structure. The geological structure refers to the nature of rocks in the outer layer of the earth. The structure as well as composition of rocks varies from one region to another region. These characteristics influence human life as well as human occupations. The major influence are in the form of soils, minerals and rocks. The third factor is relief features. The surface configuration of the earth is described as relief features or physical features or topography. There are three major types of relief features, namely mountains, plateaus and plains. Each one of these relief features influences the economic activities of man as well as the nature of life. The fourth factor is climate. Climate is the most important and dominant factor of the natural or physical environment. The influence of climate is universal. Man has adapted to the climatic condition of the region in which he lives. It is reflected in various aspects of his life such as dress, diet, activities, habits, etc. The influence of climate can be seen through population distribution, concentration of industries, agricultural activities, housing, human race, human behaviors, diseases, etc. The fifth factor is soil. Soil is one of the major factors of physical environment. It is formed by the disintegration and decaying of rocks due to weathering process. In course of time, organic materials called humus is also added to the soils. To some extent, climate also modified the chemical composition of soils. As a result, soils vary from one region to another depending on the rocks from which they are produced. They influence human life in various forms. Some of the important influences are agricultural prosperity, cropping pattern, natural vegetation, industries and population distribution. Sixth factor is rivers. Rivers have immense impact on human life. They provide drinking water for man and animals, water for irrigation and industries. They are also useful to generate hydroelectricity. River replenishes soil fertility during floods by depositing alluvium in the floodplains. It is useful for inland fishing. The river estuaries are the ideal sites for ports and harbors. Most of the world famous ports are located at the river estuaries. Example Kolkata, London, etc. Rivers are also useful for recreation and tourism activities. They form extensive plains and deltas. Most of the river plains as well as deltas are most densely populated and economically prosperous. The rivers are helpful in the development of entire plain region through which they flow. Thus, Egypt is called the gift of the river Nile. People realizing the importance of the river worships them. Even most of the holy cities of the world are situated on the river banks like Varanasi on the bank of the sacred river Ganges. Seventh factor is natural vegetation. The term natural vegetation refers to all kinds of vegetative life grown naturally on earth's surface. It includes evergreen forests, grasslands, as well as thorny bushes of the deserts. The climate exerts great influence on the natural vegetation. As a result, we see different types of plant life on the surface of the earth. It has great influence on human being, beneficiaries to man both directly and indirectly. Forest provides raw materials for many industries. Large amount of humidity is released by the plants in the process of photosynthesis, which causes rainfall. The grasslands are ideal grazing lands for both domestic and wild animals. It controls flood and soil erosion. The forest is known for natural scenery and promotes recreation and tourism activities. The forest supports a great variety of birds as well as animals. It is the part of the entire biosphere, helps to maintain the required level of oxygen in the atmosphere. Hunting and collecting of forest products are two important primitive occupations of the man. Even today, many tribes are engaged in these occupations. In the temperate region, lumbering is one of the important occupations of the man. Some of the countries like Finland, Sweden, Canada derive a large part of their national income from the forest. The eighth factor is animals. Animals are the important component of the natural environment. Man gets lot of benefits from the animals. They are the source of food, provides raw materials for various industries. They support agricultural activities. Animals have proved to be most useful for transportation since ancient times. Animals are also used for recreation, sports, warfare, etc. Some of the occupations of man, such as animal rearing and hunting, are directly related to the animals. Many countries depend on the export of animal products. Example, Denmark, Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, etc. Ninth factor is form of coastline. The form of coastline is an important factor of the natural environment, influencing human life and activities. It largely determines ocean transport, exploitation of marine resources, port development, as well as the naval strength of the country. Highly intended broken coastline with the natural protection and deep water is helpful for port development and promotes maritime trade and commerce. In modern times, most of the industrialized countries are located near the coast and port, which indicate the significance of the coastline. The 10th factor is shape and size of a country. Difference in the shape as well as size led to variations in the human occupations and activity. The shape of a country may be of three types, namely compact, fragment and linear. The size of the country can also be three types. They are small, medium and large. Each one of these shapes and sizes have distinct impact on its economic activities. Next is cultural or man-made environment. The cultural environment comprises all the man-made features on the earth's surface. His talent, science and technology, as well as his total experience has created man-made or human environment. It may also be termed as non-geographical environment. The cultural environment is directly related to human technology and knowledge. So, S.H. Beaver has considered cultural environment as the technological environment. The qualities of man differ from place to place as well as from time to time. As a result, the cultural environment also changes from place to place and time to time. This is most unstable. It reflects the utilization of natural resources and opportunities by man. Factors of cultural environment. The cultural environment includes various factors such as houses, roads, railways, industries, agricultural fields, etc. The important factors are the government, race, religion, population size, political situation, standard of living, traditions, etc. All these factors profoundly influence both human life as well as the economic activities of man. The first cultural factor is the government. This is one of the major factors of the cultural environment. The policies of the government greatly influence the life of man, which results in change of the cultural environment. At the same time, direction as well as speed of its economic development are depend on the government policies. The government can encourage certain activities and discourage others. For example, it can encourage the cultivation of food grains by fixing a higher price and discourage tobacco cultivation by levying more tax on it. It can encourage certain industries like textiles, iron and steel, and discourage others like wine industry, cigarette industries, etc. The government has to maintain its sovereignty, law and order. It must formulate financial policies and regulate import and export activities. Proper planning and implementation is an essential requirement for economic development. The second factor is race. Mankind is classified into different groups on the basis of various physical characteristics like color of the skin, hair structure and color, width and length of the head and nose, blood groups, etc. Of all these, color of the skin is very important. On the basis of color, mankind is grouped into three important races. They are Caucasoid, white people, Mongoloid, yellow people, and Negroid, black people. It is estimated that about 55% of the world population belongs to the Caucasoid race. This race is distributed over western, southwestern and southern parts of the Europe, and recently it has occupied even Australia and North America. The color of the race varies from brown to whitish red. They are tall and well built. The Mongoloid race is predominant in the east and southern parts of Asia. They are yellowish, short in stature, are also well built. About 30% of the world population belongs to the Mongoloid race. The Negroid race is distributed in the continent of Africa and recently has also spread over many parts of the world. Anthropologists have related mental and physical capability of man to the races. The Caucasoid people, being well built, can work hard and can also mentally superior. So the regions of Caucasoid people like Western Europe, North America are technologically more advanced and industrially developed. They are politically dominant and control the entire world's affairs. The Mongoloid people, occupying mainly eastern parts of Asia such as China, Japan and Korea, are short in stature, but they are healthy and energetic as well as intelligent. They are moderately developed. They are efficient in management. In contrast, the black people of the Negroid race are weak, inefficient. So the regions are economically backward. They are dominated by other races. The racial superior theory was propagated in the early part of the 19th century by the Western anthropologists, who claimed their natural superiority of the white race over other races. The black people were considered as mere slaves. But in modern times, the concept of racial superiority has been discarded, and instead it is argued that if proper environment is provided, every race is capable of developing physically as well as mentally. The third important factor is religion. This is one of the important factors of the cultural environment. A religion asks its followers to accept the existence of God and to worship, love and also obey Him. Each religion has its own principles and traditions which are followed by the adherents. These principles influence the economic activities of the man. Modification of environment to man's convenience. Modifications of the environment can be witnessed through both in physical and cultural environment. Though the absolute location largely determines the climatic condition, which in turn influences the agricultural, industrial, infrastructural or demographic development of a country. Man has changed many things for his convenience. Dense forests are used for lumbering, coastal lines as tourist spots, or hilly terrain as agricultural activities. Variations in the soil from one region to another results in the variations of crops and yields, but man replenishes the soil quality and make use of it in many ways. Though the availability of minerals are restricted in many regions, import and export activity, mountains are made use as terrace cultivation, cultivation of tea, coffee, rubber, apple, etc. As the mountain remains cool, even during the summers, turned into hill stations like Simla, Darjeeling, Switzerland, etc. The cool climate and scenery promoted tourism. The plateaus are the storehouses of metallic minerals. So, mining is one of the major occupations of the people living in the plateaus. The climate is suitable for cultivation also. Development of irrigation facilities has enhanced the agricultural importance of the plateaus. Fertile soil and level topography of the plains made use by the man in various ways for agricultural, industrial and infrastructural development. Different occupations have been adopted though the climatic conditions are differing from one region to another. Man's effort can be seen in the type of housing and housing materials. The design of the roof, doors and windows are governed largely by the climatic conditions. The discovery of various types of medicines has led to the improvement of both physical and mental capabilities of man. The rivers are made useful for drinking water, water for industries, irrigation, for the generation of hydroelectricity, for recreation and tourism activities. The natural vegetation is used as timber, wood, pulp, rayon, turpentine, oil, gum, paints and varnishes, soap nut, sandalwood, dyestuffs, rubber, cinchona cork, bamboo, canes, medicine, herbs, industries like paper, shipbuilding, matches, furniture, tourism activities, hunting and collecting, lumbering, etc. Animals are used as food, raw materials for various industries, agricultural activities, for transportation, for recreation, sports, in warfare, etc. The cultural factors such as houses, roads, railways, industries, agricultural fields, government, race, religion, population size, political situation, standard of living, traditions, etc. has profoundly influenced both human life as well as the economic activities of man. For instance, the policies of the government greatly influences the life of man, which results in change of the cultural environment. At the same time, direction as well as speed of its economic development are depend on the government policies. If proper environment is provided, every race of mankind is capable of developing physically as well as mentally. There are many restrictions to perform various economic activities in all the religions, but it is not the situation at present. So, anybody can take up any job and can survive himself. Though the physical environment determines man's activities in a large extent, man is rational and naturally endowed with mental capabilities. He is not passive to the environmental influences, but also reacts to them himself. This is reflected in the means and ways of his adaptation to the influences of nature. He is not merely a slave of nature, but can also change it according to his ability and need. Thus, many features like houses, roads, agriculture, industries, etc. are created by the efforts of man. Thank you.